What is up, everyone? You want to get ready together today? Because I sure do. I'm throwing on some lip balm. Can't find my Aquaphor that I usually have in here. I keep saying that and then I never actually get the Aquaphor. Anyway, so hi, I'm Jessica. If you're just clicking on this video and you're like, who is this chick? We are gonna get ready together today and I have so much to catch you up on. So I just figure it's time for a chat with your sister and that's what we're gonna do. There's a lot that's been happening, good, bad, and other in our lives that we really haven't shared a lot about in vlogs and stuff. And I've been kind of MIA on Instagram stories for a bit. At least at the time I'm filming this. I'm pre-filming just a bit. But yeah, so let's just catch up, okay? Grab your coffee, whatever. Okay, I'll grab my coffee too. I'm living dangerously without a lid on this thing. First things first, let me get some sunblock on. And we'll do a little chat about makeup too, because I know some of you guys are more curious about that than about me, but, and that's fine. This is the Paula's Choice Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense SPF 50. Wait, yeah, no, 30. I love this stuff. Love it, love it, love it. Today, it is super wintry where I live. I mean, we are in February, so it's super cold, but the sun is out at least the first half of the day. And take after my dad. He is always obsessed with the weather, like what the weather is like that day. He's always the first one to text me like, well, did you see there's a winter storm coming? I'm like, yeah, Dad, I saw. I love it. Now that I'm an old lady, I feel like I'm always checking the weather like, well, what's it gonna be like this week? Are we gonna see any sun? Mostly because I know when it's a sunny day, even if it's cold, it puts me in a good mood. So we've got half sun today, and I know in a couple hours, it'll be kind of gray. Anyway, I know you guys are really, really concerned about this. I love that SPF. I just feel like sometimes I'll just put it on and it just looks like I look so much more put together. It just slightly evens things out. Love it. First of all, you are seeing this, assuming I don't change anything with how I'm uploading it, on Valentine's Day. And our Valentine's Day plans, very exciting. Are you ready? You ready? We're gonna be staying home and ordering pizza or something of the like. Could be burgers and fries. We'll just see what we decide when we open DoorDash. And watching a movie after we put our toddler to sleep. That's what we will be doing. But you know what? I feel like, first of all, I got a question about like, how often do you guys eat takeout or how often do you go out to eat? Actually not, I don't think a lot, maybe once a month. Because a lot of times if we're wanting to do something quick and convenient, we'll just grab something from our freezer, like a frozen pizza or frozen chicken tenders and fries, you know? Just, I don't know, it's convenient, it's cheaper in theory. So anyway, I don't think order takeout or go out very often, but that just means that like on a day like Valentine's Day, if we're like, well, we just kind of want to stay in, then we know it's exciting because we don't order takeout a crazy amount. So that is what we're gonna do, and we're both excited, and we both agreed, like, let's not get each other like any gifts or anything. We just don't really need it, and we're spending a lot of money on, you know, baby stuff, and you know how that goes. So I'm like, it's not necessary. I don't really need anything. So yeah, those are our plans. What are your Valentine's plans? Are you like going out to dinner and doing a romantic night? Are you single and just hanging out? Maybe you're ordering takeout for yourself and watching a movie. I don't know what movie we're gonna watch, but we love musicals. There's so many musicals we have not watched, like Tick, Tick, Boom. Someone watched it. We both know that music well. I remember singing Come to Your Senses, a song from that, in one of my musical theater classes when I went to school for it. Love that song, but I love Why. Ooh, I love that song. What's the other one I love? Oh my gosh. Now I just wanna listen. I just want to listen to Tick, Tick, Boom. But we also have not seen West Side Story. So I want to see that. And I feel like there's another musical that's out that we still haven't seen. So we have a lot that's like on our radar. And I feel like that would be a fun one to specifically watch on Valentine's Day. Either one of those. But what is the song? Why do we blaze a trail when the well-worn path? This is not it. I just butchered it. Some of you guys are like, Jessica, no. What is this song called? Oh my gosh. My favorite song is Louder Than Words. That is my favorite song in that show, hands down. That song is a standalone great song. Just about like life and like, just go listen to that song. I don't know how good it is on the movie soundtrack. I am just layering this stuff on. Oh, by the way, I don't need any more. Jessica, stop. I just realized this is like a third layer. I didn't mean to do this. It's gonna be too much. So this is a new foundation, and I actually did want to talk about it, from NARS. It's their light reflecting foundation. And I am not gonna do like a dedicated video to this, so consider this my review. And I also have been trying the new Charlotte Tilbury one, and that one you'll see in 2 days in my like trying new makeup video. Like I said, I don't do a lot of dedicated videos to things like that. So this is serving as my review, and that next one will serve as my review for the Charlotte Tilbury one. This is very lightweight, but really pretty, and it covers it. I mean, I ended up doing 3 freaking coatings of it, but 2 coats of this foundation is stunning. I feel like it covers a decent amount. I mean, you saw my skin. I've got some freckles and some redness and stuff. It just looks so pretty. It looks so pretty, and I do think this one can do really well if you have a pore filling primer on the nose. Actually, I meant to put one on, but here we are. I really like the Milani No Pore Zone, but if you put a pore filling primer on your nose, this sits really nicely, because that would be my biggest complaint about this. It looks weird on my nose after like an hour or 2, unless I take a step like that. So just be aware, this will end up looking weird on my nose in 2 hours. But it's so pretty, and I feel like up close, it really doesn't look like makeup. And it's definitely, if you're curious about comparing this to the Charlotte Tilbury one, this is a lot thinner of a formula. So I feel like it's easy to work with. I love it with the sponge. I don't know how this would do with a brush, because that's just not what I do for foundation, but I really like the way it looks, and it looks really nice in person. So loving that. So in our life lately, we've just had a lot of news from people in our family, medical news, not great medical news, just a lot. I mean, I woke up in the middle of the night the other day having what I would consider a mini panic attack. And by woke up, I mean, I hadn't even fallen asleep for the night, and Tyler was so sweet trying to help me through it. But if you've ever had any version of a panic attack, it's like, no one can really help you through it. Like, at least that's not been my experience. And that's not something super common for me, but I definitely had one when I was kind of at the height of my postpartum depression, and that's when I knew, like, I need help, you know? Anyway, hard to explain if you've never had one, and I had never had one until postpartum, but very bizarre. Anyway, there's just a lot going on, and so it was a lot of news all at the same time, and I think for a lot of people in my family, it was really overwhelming to have so much going on, like basically in the same week or 2. So things are much better now, which is why I feel comfortable talking about it. I'm not going to get into specifics about any of it, because quite frankly, a lot of this stuff is not my news to share. It's really just not. So just prayers for people in my family and in Tyler's side of the family too. Please, prayers if you pray, or just good vibes that everyone will heal well and all will be well, because it's just been a weird 2 weeks. And that's part of why I've been kind of MIA on Instagram stories, because I've been vlogging and stuff, and that I can kind of separate in a way, because there's other stuff going on in my life too, you know what I mean, that I can vlog about. But on Instagram stories, it's usually more personal to me. And I just didn't feel like, I don't know, like I said, a lot of it is stuff I can't really be specific about anyway. So it was like, what's the point? But now I feel, at least, since we'll just see how things go. But yeah, prayers are welcome for sure. But in medical news for me, baby is still doing well as far as we know. Lots of movement. I am 32 weeks by the time you're watching this, and feeling still pretty good. Definitely getting a little more of the sleepiness. By the way, the concealer I used was the Catrice True Skin High Cover Concealer. I've been using this nonstop for like 2 weeks. I just love it. It is truly a great concealer. I feel like it blends in well, it covers nicely, and I love it, and the price point is great. Baby seems to be doing well, because we had issues with Genevieve when we had her, issues with growth and stuff like that. They're doing extra ultrasounds for this baby just to be sure. So actually here very soon, like this week, I'll have a 32-week ultrasound so they can check the growth, like really in depth, make sure she's growing okay. And then at 36 weeks, they're supposed to do another one. So that is abnormal. Like if you're having a normal pregnancy, you wouldn't have any more ultrasounds after your 20-week, is my understanding. So, you know, in the weirdest way, we know we're going to hit our insurance deductible. So this year, just like with giving birth and stuff, so we're kind of like, sure, bring on the ultrasounds, because we know the max we're paying, and we're definitely going to hit that. So anything else this year will be, I'm going to say free. It's not free. I mean, if you're paying for insurance every month, and our insurance is not freaking cheap being self-employed. Long story short, we know that. So I'm like, bring on the ultrasounds, because anytime I get to see this baby again, I mean, that's awesome. So hopefully all will be well. We did have an ultrasound with specialists early on for the same reasonings, just that we had issues with our first. It all looked really good, and I'm so thankful for that. So hopefully all will still be looking good. So that's good. And like I said, I've been feeling pretty good too. Just a little bit of the sleepiness throughout the day, which is very normal, especially in the 3rd trimester. But my brother and sister-in-law also had their baby. I got so many questions from you guys like, did they have their baby? They did, and she's perfect, and they're all healthy, and that was just definitely amidst all of this other news, that was such a silver lining, like a beautiful bright spot. And we got to FaceTime with them recently and just hear about it all, and you know, because they don't live in town. And it just makes my heart sore. And that's my baby. I'm gonna try not to cry, but that's my baby brother, like that just became a dad. I don't think I've even like mentally processed this yet. It's just so exciting. Like, it's crazy to see him with a baby. I'm like, that's my baby. He's not even a baby. Like, he's 30, maybe even 31. But it's wild to see, and it's so exciting, and I'm just so proud of them. Oh, it's just wild. So that has been amazing, amazing news. And I relish any photo or video they send of that sweet baby. So very exciting time in that regard. And we should get to see them in a couple of months, actually probably after we have this baby, just because of some travel they're doing. So that would be awesome to be able to meet her in person, because otherwise, you know, we're like, I mean, I can't travel all the way out to the East Coast this pregnant. Like, that's just not in the cards. So that will be so amazing to meet that sweet girl in person. Oh my gosh. I'm just sitting here not getting ready. I know, you guys, I know. So I just want to, oh, actually I want to use this. The Maybelline Nudes of New York palette. It's so good, from the drugstore. And it was kind of sitting in my drawer at home, and I'm like, I'm going to pull that back out. So here we are. I think I'm going to do something, I'm going to call it interesting for me. Probably not interesting for most, but I'm going to take this shade Explorer here and put it on the lid and in the crease, just as something a little bit darker of a look than I normally do. Might look terrible, might look awesome. Only time will tell. It's actually a little darker than I thought. But looking at my little list of things I wanted to talk about. Oh, so I'd mentioned Genevieve started preschool. Oh my gosh, this is so much darker than I meant. But Genevieve started preschool, which has been, she started it in January, but then they were closed for like a week or two with COVID cases and stuff, and that's just the protocol and blah, blah, blah. So she finally had like her 2nd day of preschool weeks after her 1st day. And we were originally only gonna do 1 day a week, but they ended up having a 2nd day open up, and we were like, you know what? Let's do it, because this poor kid is never gonna get used to this, and this is shaking up her little world, because she has been an only child, and there's nothing wrong with that, but she's also surrounded by adults all the time, so she is just not used to being around other kids. Like, she's got cousins and like neighbors and stuff she'll see from time to time, but she's also been growing up in COVID America, where for the past 2 years, that's all she remembers and knows. So play dates haven't been as common. I was mentioning this in a vlog. Anyway, all of that to say, this is just good for her. And I, as someone that did teach for a couple years, I definitely saw that socialization is so important for kids. And so I feel that this is super important for her. So when we drop her off, there's usually tears, and like the first few days, lots of tears, but it's getting better. And this last time I picked her up, her teacher said, oh my gosh, she had the best day, like the best day she's had yet. She was, you know, participating so much more and like playing with other kids. And there's this one little girl that was like helping her wash her hands and like holding her hand. I'm like, oh my gosh. Cause that was one realization Tyler and I had. We were like, maybe it's just that she needs a friend. So then she has someone, because like when she knows she's gonna see her cousins, she's all excited to play with them. Like, that is not an issue. So I'm like, if she had a friend that she was excited to play with at school, I think that would change everything, because she just wants to hang out with the teachers. She's so much more comfortable with adults, which makes sense. That's what she knows. And adults are more predictable. You know, a kid might come up and smack you in the face, but adults don't do that typically, you hope. Anyway, I of course am trying to like break down her psyche of like what this little 3-year-old is thinking. But yeah, so it's gotten so much better, and this is exactly what we knew she needed. And that's the thing, like even when she's crying, we know that once we drop her off and she's with the teacher, 5 minutes later, she's no longer crying, and she's doing what they're doing, and she's taking the nap, and she's having snack time, and she's, you know, so it's been good. But it's if you're a parent, you've ever done this, you know, whether it's preschool, daycare, kindergarten, whatever, it is hard. I knew it'd be hard. This was one of the harder things I think I've ever done as a parent, ever. There's no other way. I mean, that's just it's just hard, but I'm glad we're doing it. And I'm really glad timing-wise that we're doing this before the baby gets here, because that is also gonna rock her little world. So we've been trying to space things out like that, you know, get her in preschool and used to that, We got her in her big girl bed and in her big girl room well before we had this baby. So again, having that adjustment like right before the baby came would be a nightmare because it's just a big adjustment. So I think we've been timing things decently well. So I ended up lightening it just a bit by putting on the little Dreamer shade. If you just want a fun, neutral, warm palette, I like this a lot and I like the quality of it a lot. But I also got questions about like, are you gonna take any maternity leave? And yes, I definitely am. You'll probably see me popping up on Instagram though, just because I know myself. And I like chatting with you guys. It's an outlet for me. So to cut that off completely for months, I don't see myself doing that. Who knows though? You know what I mean? I don't know what the future holds. I'll definitely pre-film a bit of videos as much as I can. And again, that's totally dependent on how things actually go. Like if we go into labor way earlier than we expect or there's an emergency, obviously things change. So we shall see how that all goes. But I'm definitely planning on pre-filming some and either just uploading them, you know, like let's say I pre-filmed 6 videos, either uploading them like normal for 2 weeks, 3 videos a week, or spreading them out. I don't know. There of course might be some radio silence time. We'll just see. But I definitely plan on taking off at least a month, I think, from YouTube. But there's also the piece of me that knows no matter what, there will be weeks off. But there's also the part of me that knows what it was like last time and that having something to do was helpful for me mentally. And so that's where I'm like, I can't really say anything set in stone and I don't have a perfect plan. And I know I'm very blessed in that way that I don't, you know, when I was teaching, maternity leave was a very real, I don't want to say problem, but like you have to plan it and like you only get so much time. And in most jobs, you either get some maternity leave or you don't, and you're trying to plan all that. And that is stressful in its own right, but I am in control of how much time I take off. So I think I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and just see how I feel. And maybe start coming back slowly, just 1 video a week, or I don't know. We're just gonna see. You know I can't talk and do my eyeliner very well. I'm using the nub end of this other Makeup by Mario brown liner. I bought a new one. That one's half gone at home, and then I've got this one. By the way, this brush is such a good crease brush. It's from BK Beauty. It's their 201. I use this constantly, and I get questions about it. It's a really good crease brush. It's so soft. It blends perfectly. Like, it's a goodie. Questions about Disney vlogs, if those are gonna be back, because we went in November. No, October, because we were there for like the Halloween stuff. Those are edited and they will be going up on Tyler's channel, I think really soon. So if you wanna catch those, it's Tyler Travels TV. They are, I think, our best vlogs yet, if I'm being honest. And we realized we'd gone back a couple years and watched old Disney vlogs of ours and we were like, why was anyone watching us? Like, we were a mess. I don't know how to explain it, but these newest ones, I'm like, I really feel like we've gotten better at vlogging. I don't know how else to explain it. I think it just takes practice. And I just feel like the way that our editor edited them, he did such a great job too. And so we're just really excited about these and I'm excited for you guys to see them. And it was one of our favorite trips, hands down. And of course it was the last Disney trip we will take with just Genevieve, because the next time we go, undoubtedly it will be with Genevieve and this new baby. So it was just a special trip and Genevieve loved it. She's watched the vlogs too and she loves it. So that's kind of cute. And yeah, so definitely those will be up very soon because they're all edited and they'll go up. I don't know if he's planning on doing 1 a week or 2 a week, but we also finally filmed that darn Disney haul and that will be up. I don't know when he's putting that up on his channel, but that one was fun and there were a lot of cool stuff we got for that. So another question we got a lot about was the darn humidifier that we got at Costco. Ours broke. We bought 2. One of them is working perfectly. We use it in Genevieve's room. It's amazing. So I know a lot of you guys bought it and you're like, oh no, yours broke. Like, should I return mine? No, I don't. I think it was just the one of the 2 we bought must have had something wrong with it. Part of it like literally warped inside. We were using the warm mist setting and it just warped it. So I don't know what was going on. If like the water wasn't coming through properly and so the hot water was just being heated on that like center part and that's what warped it and it wasn't coming out, like there was no escape. That's my guess. Either way, that's still a defect because that shouldn't be happening and it was like 3 weeks old when it happened. So, you know, but regardless, I would say if you have it, maybe be careful with the warm mist setting. If you know, if you're using it and you notice there's no water coming out, maybe turn it off and use the cool mist because that might just keep the water heated in there and then just warp that and then it just doesn't work at all. So yes, I was able to take it back to Costco and I didn't have the receipt, I didn't have the box and it was obviously broken and used, but it was no issue. They were so nice about it. And so many of you guys told me like, you return something to Costco, they will not give you any gripe about it. But I'm glad because this was legitimate. You know what I mean? It was like 3 weeks old and it already wasn't working. So So glad, got my money back from that. So we have a new one that's coming from, I don't know how to say the brand name, Levoit. Levoit, but I'm pretty sure like it connects to like an app and it does all this stuff and it just seemed really neat. So we're gonna give that a try and see how we like it. We should have that soon. I also got a lot of questions about like the age gap between, okay, I think this is a little dried out. I've had this a while, the Rare Beauty one. I really like it, but it leaked. And so I've never trusted it since it leaked that first day. So like there's a part of me that wants to buy it again, but I think I'm gonna call it today on that because it's kind of dried on the tip and weird. Anyway, but I like the actual brush style of it. It's like a calligraphy pen. It's really cool, but I don't wanna buy it and then it leak again. So let me ask you, if you own the Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes liquid liner, does yours leak too, or is it just the one I had was a dud? Because I would like to own it again. I like the shape of that brush. Anyway, so a lot of questions about the age gap between Genevieve and this new baby. It will be just under 4 years will be their age gap. And honestly, when we started trying, if you've been following, it would have been a smaller age gap. But you know, we got pregnant when we got pregnant and I'm just so thankful. But because of when we got pregnant, obviously the age gap is bigger than we'd originally intended. However, I have realized that maybe it's a blessing in disguise because at this point, she is potty trained. She goes to bed on her own. I mean, we get her ready for bed, but like she'll go to bed on her own and she sleeps well throughout the night. Like she doesn't nap, that'd be nice. She does not nap. She'll nap at preschool. Just look at Pinocchio.
Like she doesn't nap, that'd be nice. She does not nap. She'll nap at preschool.
I just think it won't feel like we're raising 2 babies at the same time. And even though we wanted to have one sooner, this may be a blessing in disguise for us and it might make our life easier to a certain extent. I mean, it's still gonna be hard. So in that way, I'm weirdly not nervous about the age gap, and Genevieve really does understand a lot more than she would have a year ago. And so that part of it is nice too. You know, she understands what's gonna happen. I don't think that means she understands really like how much her life is really gonna change and how, you know, our attention it won't be 100% on her anymore. That's gonna be hard, and that undoubtedly. But I think it really is a blessing in disguise, like I've said now 3 times. So I'm happy about the age gap in the end, and you know, you'll hear about how it goes here soon. We're just gonna see. And a lot of you guys asked about, hey, how did did Tyler ever finish the backyard lights? We were gonna hang like, you know, the cute lights that people hang in the backyard. What's that called? You know what I'm talking about. He got all the stuff for it, and I think we vlogged about it. Was it towards the end of Vlogmas maybe? Winter weather really rolled in and it just hasn't happened. It's totally on the back burner. We were really hoping to have it done before the baby, and maybe it still will be done if we get like a nice weekend where it's not crazy cold and there's no snow. Like right now, our backyard is, including our deck, is covered in like, you know, 6-7 inches of snow still. We'll see if that gets done pre or post baby, but one thing we realized from the first time around, we wanted to have every project done before we had Genevieve. And one thing we quickly learned was it's kind of nice to have projects to be working on too. Not that you have a ton of time to do them, because you don't, and you're tired, but if you're project driven like Tyler and I, and we like to stay busy, we don't do well with just sitting there doing nothing. We really don't. And we know that about ourselves now. So we're trying to make it so that we don't have everything done before the baby, because we do want to have stuff to work on and think about with her too. Does that make any sense? But that's just us. Not everyone is like that. So we'll see if that gets done. It's not like we could really enjoy the lights out there much anyway, because again, it's snowy and cold, so we wouldn't be outside. So we'll see, but we are excited. We got a bonfire pit put in a while ago now. We still have not gotten to use it because once it got put in, it was just winter. And sometimes I think it's nice in the winter to go out and like be around a campfire, but there is a time when it's just too cold. And it has generally just been too cold since it was installed. So someday we'll get to actually enjoy it, and we're gonna enjoy it all the time, and it's gonna be so fun to just go back there and have our own little oasis. I mean, that was the whole point. Lots of projects still in the works. This mascara is good. It's the Bite Beauty, what's it actually called? Upswing. It reminds me so much of so many other mascaras I've tried that are so much cheaper that I'm like, I don't feel like it's worth the $20 price tag, but it is pretty. And I feel like it holds a curl really well, but sometimes it can make your lashes look stubby. Like it'll just stop and you can't get it to like lengthen them. Still a secret weapon tool is this one from It Brushes for Ulta, and it's their number 118 Brow and Lash Styler. I use this lash comb every day. Every day. It's such a like unsung hero in my routine. Just having a really good comb for brushing through clumps or just brushing through your lashes in general. But yeah, the Bite Upswing, it's just a very dry formula, very dry. Oh, and another question I got was, did I pass the glucose test? I had to you take it at like 28 weeks pregnant. I did pass it, so that was good. The one I took, and I don't know how many different versions of it, but the one I took, I'd asked them beforehand, because they give you the drink to drink at the appointment before, so you have it. And then that morning, there's instructions on the bottle, but it's like, drink it, I'm gonna make it up, but like 45 minutes before your actual appointment, because at an hour past, they'll draw your blood so they can test it, see how your body breaks down the glucose, etc., to see if you have gestational diabetes, which can be very common in pregnancy. The reason I'm explaining that is I was like, okay, so am I supposed to fast? Like, I'm doing my appointments in the morning. Should I fast completely? Like, can I drink coffee? That was my biggest question. Can I drink coffee? But also, should I eat? Should I not? And they actually said, no, you should eat, but it should be something like eggs, something, I don't remember exactly what they said, but like not something sugary, not something high in carbs, like that kind of thing. So I was like, all right, so I had planned to do that. Well, then I got the bottle and it said, when I actually looked at it the morning of, which that was on me, that was totally my mistake. I can't find the brush I want. But I finally looked at it and it said, make sure not to eat anything 2 hours before drinking this or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I could have not fasted and eaten something, but it would have had to have been earlier in the morning and I didn't get up as early as I planned to. So that was totally my fault, but I'm like, dang. So I was very hungry. By the time we got out of that appointment, Tyler had come to that one with me and we were like, let's get some McDonald's, baby. And we did, and it was awesome. But yeah, so we did pass, but I was almost nervous that because I fasted, I was like, is my body gonna break it down differently? And I don't know enough about the science of that to know, but yeah, so that is good. Also, question for you guys. The pediatrician we're gonna get for this baby is the same pediatrician that Genevieve has. We love her. It took 3 different pediatricians to land on this one, and I don't think we're that picky. We really aren't, but there were just too many issues with, one was insurance, one was just who we had originally, absolutely not. So we finally landed on this one and we love her so much. She's been so great. Well, I contacted the office because I was like, hey, like, what do I do? Like, I'm having this baby. Here's the due date. Do I need to like pre-register with you guys? Like, how does that work? And they basically said, no, actually what you'll do is once you've had the baby, contact the office. We'll get them registered, get you set up for your checkups, because there's a lot of checkups early on for a newborn at the pediatricians. Like, I think the first one is like the day or 2 after you get back from the hospital, you go in because they want to make sure the baby's gaining its weight back, etc. But I had remembered when we had Genevieve, the doctor, pediatrician, this is actually what the problem was. The doctor we had was my OBGYN, our primary care doctor, and the pediatrician. No doctor should be spread that thin. I'm just gonna say it now, because the problem was her office was wild. Like, you could not get appointments, things would be lost in the shuffle, you could not get documents you need. Like, it was so disorganized. Don't get me started on that. I've talked about that before. But anyway, so that was supposed to also be Genevieve's pediatrician. I did not know at the time that that was abnormal, and you probably really should have separate doctors specializing in separate things. I should have known. Anyway, but that doctor, of course, came in to the hospital because she was checking on me, because she was my OBGYN who delivered the baby. But then also she would check on the baby because she was her pediatrician. So I thought it was normal that all pediatricians came into the hospital to check on the baby too. But as I did a little bit of quick Google research, so correct me if I'm wrong, and there's a chance I am wrong. It sounds like some doctors like have hospital privileges, but like the hospital we're delivering at, that we use a lot of doctors from, is not the same system that the pediatrician is in. So I have a feeling she wouldn't have hospital privileges anyway. So I don't think they have to visit in the hospital, is I guess what I'm trying to get across. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I know some of you guys are in that world. Let me know, like, how does that work? So anyway, that is something I'm and I've got to figure out how to add her to insurance too. These are the things I feel like no one talks about when you have a kid, but you're like, you got to figure them out. Like, you got to have that baby on the insurance. Like, do I need to do that pre or post having the baby? Like, I don't know yet. Anyway, that was the Flower Heat Wave bronzer. Actually, I don't think I've ever applied bronzer with this brush, the Sephora 55 Pro Foundation, which I don't use for foundation. Actually, I think applied it kind of nicely. I still need to get the lighter version of this. Jessica, you got to remember and buy it, okay? I'm going to use the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duo in Spiced Apple for my blush. Guys, this is why I hate that lip balm. Gross. You have to look at that on my lips? Ugh. It's a random, it's the brand, you know, I'm just going to show it to you because I don't know how to say it. But I think it's separated weird. And maybe it's expired. So a lot of questions too about like, how are we doing? We're doing pretty good. I feel like mentally we're in a good space, just generally in life right now. I'm trying to like soak up all the sleep we're getting now because we know what that's like. This is such a pretty color. I feel like year round, spiced apple. Like a pretty fall and winter shade, but I just really like it. And I'm just gonna use this as kind of a blush topper. It's too dark to be an actual like highlight for me. So this will kind of be both. I'm just gonna kind of tap it on. I've been skipping highlight a lot lately. I don't know who I think I am. I always wear highlight, but that looks nice just like on top of the blush. I'm getting into blush toppers a little more than I used to be. I feel like I need to put something on my under eye to like set it. I'm gonna use the LYS setting powder. I love this stuff. What am I doing with my life? Like I feel like I don't have any of the brushes I normally have here. This is gonna be a huge mistake, but I'm just gonna use it just lightly. That was not ideal for that. It's like densely packed on under eye powder. Throw a little on my nose while I'm at it. Anyway, so those are kind of the updates in our life. Just exciting stuff to come. Some stuff that we're still praying about. And I just had felt like I'd been vlogging a lot, like I said, and chatting with you guys there about stuff, but not everything. I didn't chat about everything there, so I wanted to kind of use this video to just get you up to speed on what is going on and where we're at, and it always feels good. These are some of my favorite videos to do because I feel like you guys are my friends, and some of you guys have been along for the ride for a very long time. I guess I should put something on my lips. A very long time. I love hearing from you guys, like feedback about, you know, experiences you've had. Like if I bring up a certain topic and you're like, actually, I learn a weird amount from you guys. And it's amazing because some of you guys are in literal fields that I'm asking about. So you're like, you know, if I talk about labor and delivery, some of you guys are L&D nurses, or you work in a hospital, or you're a tech or whatever. And you can literally tell me exactly what it's like in your experience. And you're coming from literal experience. And it's just so amazing. I feel like I have access to some of the brightest minds out there that like live and breathe whatever it is I might be talking about. And that's so cool. And I'm so thankful anytime. And one thing I've noticed too, this is kind of off topic, but I feel like I haven't been getting as much unsolicited advice about pregnancy and babies as I did the first time. And maybe it's because a lot of you guys know this isn't my first rodeo, but the times you have given advice, it's really like useful, specific stuff. It's not like, this is a terrible example, but like, it's not like, yeah, you should swaddle the baby. Like, yeah, I know. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's just, this time around has been so much more awesome because I feel like you guys are being really specific if you're giving me feedback, and you know this isn't my first rodeo, but there's also still things that you just don't know. Also things I just don't remember. You know what I mean? Like I'm maybe thankful that I forget a lot of what I've forgotten, but I mean, that's just the reality. You do forget a lot, especially when you have a nearly 4-year age gap between the kids. So boy, this turned into a pregnancy update. I'm so sorry for those of you that did not sign up for that. But thank you guys for listening to me jabber on. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know. I can link my coffee chat playlist if you want to check out more of my chit chats. Sometimes they get ready with me, sometimes they're not. But I'll also link any product I use down below if you're just curious about something. I don't even know that I mentioned every single product I used. I might have. But in case I didn't, I'll have them below if you want to check them out. And of course, if you do purchase anything using those links, I do get a small commission. It helps support my channel. So thank you ahead of time if you decide to use those. And yeah, I guess that's it. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.